Wild horse blocked the road. The driver froze when she saw the danger waiting there. The summer sun filtered through the dense canopy of the Canadian forest as Sophia Lindgren gripped the steering wheel of her SUV with focused determination. It was a routine patrol, a check of an area where wild animal sightings had recently increased. The windows were rolled down, and the scent of damp moss and pine needles filled the air. Suddenly, she slammed on the brakes. Directly in front of her, in the middle of the forest trail, stood a magnificent wild horse, muscular with a gleaming brown coat and flaring nostrils. It didn't move an inch. It stared at her, as if warning her. Sophia frowned, shifted into neutral, and reached for her binoculars. Something wasn't right. Her gaze moved beyond the horse, and then she saw it. Just a few meters behind the animal, something was moving in the ground. A foal, barely a few months old. Its slender body trembled with effort as it desperately tried to free its legs from a dark, muddy hole. It was trapped, almost up to its neck in a treacherous swamp pit. The young horse's eyes were wide with fear. Every frantic struggle pulled it deeper. Sophia felt her heartbeat quicken. The wild horse wasn't a threat. It was a mother protecting her child. But how close could she get without triggering panic? Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the radio. But she already knew, in this remote area, every step had to be carefully calculated. What lay before her was no simple decision, but a race against time and against the distrust of a wild heart. Sophia reached for her radio with trembling fingers and pressed the talk button. Only static, no signal. Cursing, she grabbed her satellite phone instead, the only device out here still capable of connecting to the outside world. Her heart pounding, she typed in the number of the nearest ranger station. Seconds stretched into eternity until finally a voice answered. "Ranger station here. Lindgren, what's going on? I urgently need backup. A foal is stuck in a swamp. The mother is blocking the road. Situation is tense. The animal is exhausted and might react unpredictably." As soon as she hung up, her eyes returned to the wild horse. It hadn't moved, but its posture had changed. The muscles beneath its gleaming coat were tense to the breaking point, its ears pinned back, its gaze piercing. Sophia recognized the signs. The animal wasn't just wary, it was at its limit. And yet it didn't retreat. It wasn't just protecting its young, it was holding on to the last thing it had left: control. Sweat beaded on Sophia's forehead. She knew that any wrong signal, any sudden move, could cause a panic reaction. And then the foal would be lost. Move could cause a panic reaction. And then the foal would be lost. She carefully stepped out of the vehicle, both hands raised and clearly visible. Slowly she approached the edge of the swamp, her steps cautious, almost silent. The foal was barely visible now. The mud had nearly reached its neck. It snorted faintly, its breathing growing shallow. Desperation trembled through every twitch of its small body. Sophia swallowed hard. She couldn't make a mistake now. Help was on the way. But would it arrive in time? The deep hum of an off-road vehicle cut through the shimmering summer air as Ben and Daniel arrived at the clearing just minutes later. Both wore protective vests, carried first aid gear, and bore serious expressions. Sophia ran toward them, quickly briefing them on the situation. Together they peeked toward the wild horse, still standing motionless in the path, a living barrier between the humans and her child. "We have to distract her," Ben whispered. "If we can just get her to back off for a moment, we might have enough time." Daniel nodded and pulled a small tin of dried fruit from his backpack, a strong-smelling treat that often attracted wild horses. With extreme caution, Daniel placed the fruit a few meters to the side of the clearing, clearly visible and well away from the swamp pit. The wild horse lifted her head, ears twitching. For a moment she seemed torn. A brief hesitation, then a careful step toward the scent. That was the moment they needed. While Sophia kept a close eye on the mare, Ben and Daniel approached the foal, lying motionless in the mire. Its head hung low, its strength fading. "It's still alive," Daniel whispered, gently examining the leg. It was deeply stuck but not broken. There was still hope. They began the rescue with precise coordination. Daniel dug mud away from the foal with his bare hands, while Ben prepared an improvised harness from rope. Every breath was tense, every glance flicking back to the mare, who was slowly turning back toward the clearing. Just a few more minutes, any longer, and it would be too late. Finally, with a strong pull and united strength, they lifted the foal from the bog. It trembled all over, but its eyes were open and full of life. The first part was done, but the hardest challenge still lay ahead, reuniting the injured young one with its mother. Ben knelt beside the weakened foal, gently cleaning its mud-caked legs while Daniel wrapped a soft bandage around the injured joint. The two men worked calmly and precisely, but the air was thick with tension. The wild horse had fully turned its attention back to the scene. It snorted deeply, stomped its hoof, and was ready to intervene at any moment. Sophia stood between the mother and the team, her voice soft, her gestures soothing. She spoke in a calm tone, not directed at the horse, but at the moment itself, as if she were asking nature to grant them just one more breath of time. When the treatment was complete, Ben gave a short nod. Time to bring it back. Together they lifted the trembling foal onto a stretcher and carefully carried it a few steps closer to the mother. Then they laid it gently in the tall grass, just a few meters in front of her. Everyone slowly stepped back. No one dared to speak. Time seemed to freeze. The wild horse stood still. No sound, no movement, only her flaring nostrils and the intense gaze fixed on her young. Then she began to move, slowly, cautiously, but without any sign of aggression. She gently touched the foal's neck with her muzzle. It whimpered softly, then lifted its head. What happened next took everyone's breath away. The mare lowered her head and looked at Sophia for a long moment, not with panic, not with threat, but gratitude? A moment of almost otherworldly silence hung over the scene. Then she nudged her foal as if to encourage it, and together they slowly moved off, disappearing into the trees back to freedom. Sophia swallowed hard, tears welling in her eyes. In that second, she had not only saved an animal, she had earned the trust of the wild, and she knew moments like this change everything. Sometimes true strength lies not in struggle, but in trust. This encounter shows that compassion and respect can build a bridge between humans and animals, even in the wildest corners of nature. Did this story move you as much as it did us? Then give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to never miss more powerful stories from the wilderness. Share this video with friends and family, because sometimes all it takes is a silent gaze to realize how deep the bond between humans and animals truly is.